I'm not the only person who completely forgot about season 2, right? Yeah, didn't think so either. Had it not been for those Netflix NFL Christmas games, I probably would not be reviewing this at all. But now, let's discuss the second season of a 3-year-old popular television series that once took the internet by storm. So, Squid Game Season 2 is the second season of the insane 2021 Netflix hit, Squid Game. The show is created by Hwang Dong-hyuk, and it stars Lee Jung-jae, Lee Byung-hun, and Wee Han-jun. I know for a fact I butchered those names. Please forgive me. Set 3 years after the first season, the story focuses on Seung Ji-hun's life after winning the Squid Game, giving up on going to the United States and returning to the games with a new resolution in mind. He once again dives into the mysterious survival game, starting another life or death game with new participants gathered to win the prize of 45.6 billion won. And if you didn't know, that's 31 million USD. When I first saw season 1 back when it first came out, I was in love with it. I thought it was one of the greatest shows to ever hit Netflix, and to this day, I still believe it's one of the more better content on Netflix. That first season hit like crack in the 80s. So way back when they first announced season 2, I was excited, but I was also worried because I felt like season 1 was a great ending and you didn't really need to expand upon that. But ladies and gentlemen, money talks. So here we are now with season 2 of Squid Game, and I'm going to cut to the chase. I think season 2 is good, but not as good as season 1. This season has a lot of great moments, but it also has a lot of lackluster moments. First and foremost, the production is incredible. This giant, colorful playground summer camp of death looks just as amazing as it did back in season 1. This prison, if you will, looks so imaginative and thoughtful. I still like the masked man's outfit, I like the outfits of the henchmen, and I love the production sets for all of the games. Speaking of games, there are new games presented in this season, and I think they work just as good as season 1. Going into season 2, I was worried they were going to keep the same games from season 1, but my prayers have been answered. They brought in new games and I love how they are executed. One thing that Hwang does really well with the games is that he brings in these child games and still manages to serve up this life and death situation. So although you're rooting for the characters to win, you also gotta remember that if they lose, they will literally die a horrible, horrible death. So I'm glad that level of quality has not changed. That one game from episode 5, is that an actual kids game? I didn't know that. If I had to perform that game with my team, I would have told the henchmen, hey man, just shoot us. Any kid that can master that game, hey listen, you are a master at your craft. But I'm glad there are new games, and I think they are just as immersive and intense and engaging as the games from season 1. And can I just say, Lee Jung-jae is starting to become one of my personal favorite actors. Seung Ji-hun is such a well-written character and I love his arc. You see how he starts off as this desperate gambler who would have never given up gambling if God gave him the chance, to this smart, calculated, compassionate, and tactical badass. The character arc is crazy. Given the events that happened to Ji-hun in season 1 and the fact that he was the final winner of the last games, he is feeling this significant level of survivor's guilt, anxiety, and probably depression. Despite everything that has happened to him, he still has heart. He didn't let the games or the money or the masked man turn him into a selfless asshole. He is the hero of this story. When it comes to him showing moments of heroism and bravery, I think that is where the show truly shines as far as the writing and character development. I am really curious how they're going to wrap up his story in season 3. Or if we're being brutally honest, the second half of season 2. But I will touch on that later. And as far as the supporting cast, I liked some of them. Compared to the supporting characters in season 1, the supporting characters in this season, they're not really that interesting. But I do want to touch on the supporting characters that I really do like the most. First off, the front man. I don't want to spoil what they do with his character in this season, but just know it's very, very interesting. The thing with the front man is that you know he's the bad guy, but deep down, he's stuck. He's trapped in the system to some extent. Yes, he does bad things, but you still feel empathy for him. But when it came to the acting and the dialogue, Lee Byung-hun was phenomenal. This guy is pretty much the Korean Mads Mikkelsen. I actually did like the mother and the son. I do want more for the characters, but when it came to like bringing in certain heartfelt moments, I thought those two were fantastic. Outside of the front man, the best written supporting character in this entire season was Hyun-ju, or number 120. This character was one of the more lovable and more well-written characters out of the entire supporting cast. I really loved her story. I'm rooting for her, and I really hope she makes it out this season. Bringing in the intensity and the heartfelt moments, yo, this is a good character. And of course, we cannot forget about the man, the myth, the legend himself, Thanos. Having your rapper stage name be named after a Marvel character is kind of crazy. If a guy walks up to me and tells me that his stage name is Thanos the rapper, I'm not taking you seriously. Get away from me, bro. It is clearly obvious the actor had a lot of fun playing the character. And honestly, all I can do is smile at that. The character does not have a lot of depth. He's just kind of there for comedic relief. And yeah, one thing that they do with Thanos, and I do think it is pretty interesting, is that whenever he's speaking, he goes from speaking Korean, then to straight up English, then back to Korean, and then straight up English again. I thought it was a very interesting choice. I'm not sure why they did it, but I mean, hey, it didn't bother me. Hwang definitely did a lot of experimental work with the camera in this season. Everything from classic zoom-ins to zoom-outs to handheld movement to panning to the left and right, it all looked fantastic. If we can get a one-shot sequence in the final season, that would really make my 2025. And just like season 1, the subtle attention to details is always a pleasure to see. For example, during the second game, when our main group is walking around the rainbow circle of death, it really feels like this is all being done in real time. You know how some movies or shows let you know that, hey, the clock is counting down, but it feels like there's way more time than what the clock is showing? But not here. No, it really feels like 5 minutes is going by. Like, it goes by quick. And I love stuff like that. I love subtle attention to details. One thing this season does is that it really takes some shots at popular topics going on in the media. For example, crypto YouTube bros creating a crypto scam to scam all of their millions of fans. YouTubers scamming their millions of fans in a crazy Bitcoin crypto scam? What? Who could they be talking about? With all of the great things in this season, there are definitely some bad things. This show really wants you to suspend your level of disbelief. There are moments where I feel like it's either A, unrealistic, or B, it really makes you question the level of security on this island. If they can find a tracking GPS unit inside of someone's fake tooth, you're telling me they couldn't find a hidden blade disguised as a pin for a woman's hair? Or they couldn't find drugs hidden inside of a cross? Like, come on, bro. And there were other characters who were so underdeveloped that I couldn't care less about them. For example, the shaman woman and soldier number 11. What is their purpose? Soldier number 11 is just undercooked as a character. They were setting her up like she was going to be something big or play a huge factor into the season, but she doesn't. What was the point of all that setup? They have to do more of her character in season 3. Also, this show has the absolute fucking audacity to end on a cliffhanger. Who, what, when, why, where was that an option? Why are we ending things on cliffhangers? Personally, I don't mind cliffhangers when they're good. Look at season 1, for example. You could argue season 1 ended on a cliffhanger, but in a way that sets up for another story. Season 2 is basically the first half of season 2, and season 3 will essentially be the second half of season 2. Do y'all remember the season 6 finale of The Walking Dead, where Negan had all of Rick's group lined up, and then we see Negan kill someone, but it's from the POV of the person that he killed, and we didn't know who Negan killed, and we had to wait 6 months to see who Negan sent to the pearly gates of heaven? Same energy in this season, and ladies and gentlemen, that is really not a good thing. I still believe season 2 was not necessary, but I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that it's bad. So yeah, I still think it's good, but not as good as season 1. So plugging Squid Game, season 2. Into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pass zone. But yeah, y'all, that is pretty much my review for Squid Game Season 2. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about this season. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you excited for season 3? What are you hoping for? Whatever you thought, let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you all in the next one.